skies. Pray help from above, because in the midnight hour she cried more, more, more. With a rebel yell, she cried more, more, more. Wow! In the midnight hour, baby, more, more, more. With a rebel yell, more, 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 more. She don't like slavery, she won't sit and beg. But when I'm tired and lonely, she sees me too big. What set you free and brought you to me? What set you free? I leave you here by me. Because in the midnight hour, she cried more, more, more. With a rebel yell, she cried more, more, more. Wow! In the midnight hour, babe, more, more, more. With a rebel yell, more, more, more. City go 47 and 11. Well, it's out all night, you can get better. But this is all, the door is up, it's
Alright guys, now that you've seen a little excerpt of me playing some parts for Rebel Yell, let me show you what's going on in the patch. The main bits aren't super important as far as amps and cabs. I'm not trying to replicate Steve Stevens' live or studio tone. It's really just a Marshall-based tone that sounds good to me. A modded Marshall kind of tone. So I have the Friedman HBE, and that's running into two of my favorite cabs. The Marshall Pre-Rolla 55 Hertz. It's a greenback, kind of an old thing. This is my favorite all-time impulse, and I always like to pair it either with this USA Traditional number 74 or this Recto, which is number 44. The Recto is more of a modern, heavier sound. The Traditional is more of a traditional sound, but they both pair with Marshall very, very, very well. So obviously for an 80s song, I'm doing the traditional just to get a more traditional Marshall tone. Now for the things that you guys are actually here for, the special bits. First, let's look at the instant feedback that I get. It's not super close to sounding like actual feedback, but in a full band mix and live, if you're running direct, getting feedback is hard, and if you're playing something like this where there's two spots that need feedback to sound right, having a go-to feedback option is important, and this is the best way to kind of do it, just to kind of get that sound in there. It's not perfect sound, but it's a sound. How I achieve this is I'm running these two blocks, a pitch block and a compressor, and I think my drive pedal is going in as well, but I don't think it's on. Sometimes I have the drive pedal going, but that's not important. Just to add more natural kind of feedback if I get the tone and the drive going, but you can do that if you want. We're just going to be looking at the compressor and the pitch block. As you can see, this compressor, I'm using a studio compressor, threshold about -71, ratio to about 20. and the mix is on a controller. I'm using external 1, and so essentially what that means is when I put the foot switch down as I am right now, the mix goes up. So it goes from being off to on. And as you will see in the pitch block, it is doing the exact same thing. The pitch block, the only thing that's on a controller is the mix knob. So as I put the pedal in, the mix goes up. So how I'm doing that is when I get to those parts in between the chorus and the verse, when all that crazy feedback's going on, is I slowly put my foot up, and that brings that all in. I showed you the compressor. The pitch block, as you can see, it's pretty much acting like a whammy, where it's going up 19, so it's more than an octave. It's pretty intense. Let's see if I can get some audio going on for this. So there it is without it. And as we put this in, it goes crazy. So to replicate the feedback, essentially all I'm doing is I'm adding like an octave and a half above that gets rolled in, and I'm compressing it so that adds some sustain to all the noise you're making. And then all that together just makes noise, and it's wonderful, and we all cheer that we have feedback. The other trick that I pull for this song is a trick that a lot of people have been trying to figure out how to do without buying the actual thing that Steve does, and that is the ray gun. For those who don't know, that sound effect in the solo for Rebel Yell, Steve Stevens, the guitar player for Billy Idol, had this little toy ray gun, and so you pull the trigger and it makes a sort of sound, and if you put that up against the pickup, that sound will go through the pickup, and that's how you get that sort of sound in that song. And so live he has a ray gun that he uses, and it's a cool effect. I'm thinking of actually pulling something like that, or even just buying a fake ray gun to have. I don't know. It's a cool show thing to do, but this is a step to go in the right direction, where if you want that sound and you don't want to carry around a ray gun with you to a show, this is how you do it. And it's a lot better than I see a lot of people doing, where if they have a whammy bar, they just they do crazy whammy bar stuff, or they just try to trem pick the E note or something just to get something to fill that noise, because they can't make that noise. But I'm going to show you guys how to make that noise with the AX8. So as you can see, I'm in scene 2 now. I've set it up where this only works when you're in the lead tone, because I didn't want to accidentally step on it and make that noise, unless I'm in my solo. And scene 2 is my solo, scene 1 is my rhythm, and there's no clean for this. So as you can see, scene 2 turns everything else on. It turns the drive block on, which is always on for solos. It turns my phaser block on, which is always on for my guitar solos. And it turns the delay on, which is always on for my guitar solos as well. So these three have nothing to do with the ray gun. This is just part of my lead sound. So if you're downloading the patch and you don't want a phaser or a delay or a drive block in your solo, feel free to get rid of these. The 4 things that you need are the pitch block, the compressor for the feedback, and then the chorus and the delay on the right here for the ray gun. So the chorus, if you look right here, there are 2 things that are on a controller. Let's look at. Let me show you what's going on. Minimum, we're going 5.6 hertz. Maximum, 10.0 hertz. It's a pretty straight line. and it's being controlled by control switch 1. I'll show you all the rest of this. It's all pretty much all the way up or all the way off. Levels at 0. Tone, I don't think I messed. Maybe the high cut was messed with a little bit, and the drive might have been messed with. And then for the delay, let's look at the delay. Yeah, you pretty much only have a controller on the input gain right here. I have mix about 32, feedback about 36 and 60, a spread about 50, 432 milliseconds. You know, just going through these. I don't think any of this was super important. I think everything on this screen was super important. So, the input gain, the rate, and the mix on the chorus are all being controlled by foot switch 1. Or control switch 1, which on my unit is in this bottom right corner right here. If we go to our controllers, our modifiers, we can also use control switch 1, controls chorus rate, chorus mix, delay 2, input gain. And then all the rest of this is for the feedback. And so if we set it up to the control switch 1, and we're on my lead tone, it'll sound something like this. Now, apologize, I have my X8 on the desk and on the floor, so I have to put one of my hands off the guitar to make the noise. But essentially, it's going to sound like this. Pretty cool, right? So that's how you get the ray gun effect. Some things to keep in note is when you're on the foot switch, seeing you're setting up control switch, make sure it's momentary instead of latching, so that it only goes off when you're holding the button down, and when you take your foot off, it'll stop, because you don't want to have to press it down for a second and then press it back off. You want it, in my opinion, it's better just to hold it and then take your foot off. Hey everyone, thank you for watching my video today. If you have any comments and or questions, please leave them down in the comment section below, and I will answer them within my best abilities. If you are interested in the patch that I used for this video, the download link is in the description, and if you're so kind, please leave a like and a subscribe, and I will do more content like this. Thank you. That sound will go through the pickup, and that's how you get that sort of sound. Pretty cool, right? So that's how you get the ray gun effect.